Master your emotions. Stay calm in any situation. Have you ever felt like a tiny leaf swept away by a storm of emotions? Anger roaring, sadness whispering, anxiety swirling. You feel tossed around, trying to hold on, but the more you try, the more lost you become. I've been there. There were days when I felt like drowning in my sea of emotions. I cried out in helplessness, sank into suffering, and wondered, why must I endure this? Why can't I escape this vicious cycle? But then I realized something. We're not alone. All of us are on a boat. And the important thing isn't to try to stop the storm, but to learn how to steer our boat. Today, we'll embark on a journey together, not to run away from emotions, but to understand them, recognize them, and ultimately transform them, like an alchemist turning lead into gold. We'll explore ancient Buddhist principles and simple practices you can apply immediately to find peace amidst this turbulent life. Chapter 1. Where does the root of suffering come from? Have you ever wondered why you suffer? Why do negative emotions keep haunting us over and over again? Buddhism has a concept called the three poisons: greed, hatred, and delusion. These are considered the three root causes of all suffering. Greed is an insatiable desire and attachment to fleeting things, leaving us unsatisfied. Hatred is anger, resentment, and aversion, which sets our minds ablaze and harms ourselves and others. Delusion is ignorance, confusion, and misunderstanding, which causes us to misperceive the nature of things. But there's an important thing I want you to remember. We aren't born with these three poisons. They aren't our inherent nature. They're bad habits of the mind, formed over time due to our lack of understanding. You see, we're often not taught how to understand emotions. In school, we learn math, literature, and history, but no one teaches us how to recognize, face, and transform what's happening inside us. When an emotion arises, we often react unconsciously, according to old habits. For example, when we're sad, we turn to food, alcohol, or social media to forget our sorrows. When angry, we lash out at others with harsh words or suppress it until we explode. We react instead of truly responding. We're controlled by emotions instead of mastering them, and that's the root of suffering. I want to share with you a beautiful saying: no emotion is bad. Suffering comes from not understanding. Emotions are like wind. There's a gentle, cool breeze and a strong, fierce gale. We can't say which wind is good or bad. They're natural phenomena. The problem isn't with the emotions themselves, but with how we perceive and react to them. If we understand the true nature of emotions and know how to read them, we can master them instead of letting them control us. Chapter 2. Observing, not reacting, is the path to liberation. So, how do we understand our emotions? How do we escape the vicious cycle of unconscious reactions? The answer lies in two words: observation. In Buddhism, observation, or mindfulness, doesn't mean avoiding or suppressing emotions. It means pausing momentarily, stepping back, and looking at what's happening inside us with curiosity, openness, and non-judgment. Imagine you're sitting by a riverbank, watching the water flow. You see leaves floating by, waves rising and falling, bubbles appearing and disappearing. You simply observe, without trying to hold on to anything or stop anything. Your emotions are like that river. They're constantly changing and always flowing. They aren't fixed, and they aren't you. I want you to remember something very important. I am feeling angry. is different from "I am an angry person." "I am feeling angry" is a temporary state, like a passing shower, coming and going. "I am an angry person" is a label, a fixed image you attach to yourself, trapping you in a rigid identity. When you say, "I am an angry person," you've identified yourself with that anger. You believe it's an inseparable part of you, and that makes it even harder to break free from it. But if you can observe anger as a fleeting phenomenon, like a cloud drifting across the sky, you'll realize it's not you. You're bigger than it. You're stronger than it. And you're fully capable of mastering it. Observation is the key to freeing ourselves from the bondage of emotions. When we observe, we create a space between the emotion and the reaction. We have time to think and choose instead of acting unthinkingly. And you know what? Emotions are like uninvited guests. If you ignore them, they'll make even more noise to get your attention. But if you politely welcome them, listen to them, and show them you're not afraid, they'll gradually calm down and leave. That's the power of conscious stillness. In that stillness, you find peace. In that stillness, you find yourself. Chapter 3. 7 Daily Practices. So, how do we incorporate observation into our daily lives? How do we train our minds to become calmer and clearer-sighted? I'm going to share with you 7 simple practices that you can apply every day, like a map, to guide you on your journey of transforming emotions. Mindfulness in the moment. The first principle, and perhaps the most important, is to learn to live fully in the present. Don't let your mind wander to the past or worry about the future. Focus on what's happening right now. Your breath, the sensations in your body, the sounds around you. When you eat, eat. When you walk, walk. When you talk, talk. Don't let your mind go away, even when you're here. Mindful breathing. Breath is an excellent tool we always carry. When you feel emotions surging, use your breath to anchor your mind. Inhale deeply and slowly, feeling the air enter your body. Exhale gently and relax, feeling the tension leave you. Repeat a few times until you feel calmer. Letting go of expectations. One of the leading causes of suffering is our attachment to our expectations. We want everything to go our way, and when it doesn't, we feel disappointed, angry, and sad. Learn to let go of those expectations. Accept that life always has surprises, and we can't control everything. What matters isn't what happens to us, but how we deal with it. Loving kindness meditation. Metta. Loving kindness meditation is an excellent way to soothe negative emotions like hatred, resentment, and self-blame. Spend a few minutes each day sending good wishes to yourself, those you love, dislike, and all beings. Repeat phrases like, "May I be at peace," "May you be at peace," "May all beings be at peace." Gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful medicine to shift the mind away from negativity. Take time each day to acknowledge the good things in your life, no matter how small. It could be a sunny day, a delicious meal, a kind word, or a healthy breath. Focusing on what you have will make you feel happier and more at peace. Non-judgmental self-observation. Learn to look back at yourself like a friend, not an enemy. Don't judge your emotions as good or bad, right or wrong. Just observe them objectively, like a scientist studying a natural phenomenon. Remember, you aren't your emotions, you're much bigger than them. Accepting impermanence. Impermanence is one of the fundamental truths of life. Everything changes, everything passes, your strongest emotions. Don't try to cling to pleasant feelings, and don't try to push away unpleasant emotions. Accept that they'll come and go, like waves on the ocean, and you stand firm on the shore. Chapter 4. Transforming negative emotions into wisdom. Have you ever thought that negative emotions like anger, anxiety, sadness could become your most excellent teachers? In Buddhism, we don't try to destroy emotions. We learn to transform them. Take anger, for example. Usually we see anger as something bad, something to be eliminated. But looking deeper, we can see that anger can be a powerful energy source. If you know how to use that energy, you can turn it into motivation to act, to protect what you believe in, and to create positive change in your life. For example, anger at injustice can drive you to stand up for what is right, and anger at poverty can drive you to participate in charitable activities. Or take anxiety. Anxiety often makes us feel insecure, afraid, and want to run away. But we can learn a lot if we see it as an opportunity to practice letting go. Anxiety shows us that we're too attached to something, an outcome, a person, a possession. It reminds us that everything is impermanent and that we can't control everything. When we learn this lesson, we'll become freer and peaceful. Emotions are like energy. They will control us if we don't know how to direct them. But if we master them, we can use them to create wonderful things. This process of transformation isn't abstract or far-fetched. It happens in our daily lives, in every moment. Chapter 5-2, 5 o'clock, 3, 0 o'clock. The journey of practice is imperfect. From the bottom of my heart, I want to share something with you. Mastering emotions is a long journey, and it's not perfect. There will be times when you feel like you're going backwards instead of forwards. There will be times when you get angry, disappointed, and lose your peace. There will be times when you feel like giving up, and that's perfectly normal. You're not a superhero. You're a human being with all your weaknesses and limitations. The important thing isn't to try to avoid those negative emotions, but to learn how to face them with courage and compassion. After each fall, gently get up, dust yourself off, and keep walking. Remember that every mindful breath you take, every mindful step you take, and every kind word you speak are steps on the path to freedom. Don't be discouraged by difficulties. Don't give up when things become too overwhelming. Believe that you're gradually changing from within. One day, you'll look back and realize how far you've come. We've reached the end of our journey today. I hope you've brought some valuable baggage for yourself. If there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. Emotions don't need to be destroyed. They only need to be understood. When we let go of the intention to control everything, when we accept that life is a constant flow with ups and downs, losses and surprises, that's when we begin to live genuinely. And to conclude our conversation today, I want to give you a saying that I love very much, a saying that has helped me a lot in difficult times. Breathing in, I recognize the anger. Breathing out, I smile at myself. You can replace the word anger with any emotion you're experiencing, sadness, anxiety, fear. And whenever you feel like emotions are sweeping you away, remember this saying. Stop, breathe, and smile at yourself. Because you deserve to be loved, you deserve to be at peace, and you deserve to live a whole life. Thank you for listening. May you always be peaceful and at ease. Chapter 6. The 30-second mindset. Changing exercise. This exercise is called breathing through impermanence. This is the technique Master Chen taught to thousands of people, and I want you to try it right now. Step 1. Think of something that's currently making you anxious. It could be work, relationships, health, or anything. Step 2. Place your hand on your chest. Feel your heartbeat. Step 3. Breathe in deeply. While inhaling, silently say, "This is happening now." Step 4. Breathe out slowly. While exhaling, silently say, "This too shall pass." Step 5. Repeat 5 times, each time being conscious of your breath and this mantra. Try it right now. I'll wait. Can you feel the shift? Even after just 30 seconds, something within you has become softer, more open. I remember the story of a man named Michael who had to undergo complex heart surgery. The night before the operation, he lay in the hospital bed, so anxious he couldn't sleep. He remembered this exercise. "I am afraid," he said silently while breathing in. "This fear will also pass," he said while breathing out. After 10 minutes of practice, he had the deepest sleep he'd had in months. The surgery was successful, and he told me, "For the first time in my life, I understood the meaning of letting go, not giving up hope, but releasing control over what's beyond my reach." This technique works because it reminds the brain of a fundamental truth. Everything is temporary. When you practice regularly, you create a space between yourself and emotions, between yourself and thoughts. In that space, anxiety loses its power. In that space, you find peace. Chapter 7. Why this technique is so powerful. There are 3 scientific reasons why the impermanence thought has the power to destroy anxiety. First reason, it activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the system responsible for calming the body. When you remind yourself that this too shall pass, the brain understands this isn't a permanent threat and automatically reduces the stress response. Second reason, it creates cognitive distance between you and the problem. Instead of being swept into the vortex of negative thinking, you step outside and observe from a broader perspective. Third reason, it awakens the witness consciousness within you. This is the deepest part of consciousness, which never fluctuates with external events. Master Chen explained, "When you know who you are
There
at
was
the
an
deepest
80-year-old
level,
Buddhist monk
not the
named Master
temporary
Chan
thoughts,
who lived through war,
emotions, or
lost all his
circumstances,
possessions,
you
and
will
even
have
lost
an
his only
unshakable
son in a
foundation
tragic
in your
accident.
mind.
Yet he never
From that
experienced a
foundation,
single day
you
of
can
anxiety.
face anything.
When I asked him about his
This
secret,
isn't just
he simply
philosophy.
smiled and said,
Research
"My
on
child,
meditation and
there is one
mindfulness
thought that,
shows that
when
regular
truly understood,
practitioners have
makes
less
anxiety
active
dissolve like
amygdalas,
morning mist
the brain
meeting
region
sunlight.
processing
Today,
fear,
I'm going
and
to share
more
with you
active
that exact
prefrontal
thought,
cortexes,
an ancient
the
wisdom
brain
from
region
2,500
processing
years
reason.
ago that can
In other
completely
words,
transform how
when
you
you
face fear
practice
in
the
this modern age."
impermanence thought, you're actually changing your brain structure toward more peace and wisdom. But most importantly, you don't need to believe me, you just need to try. Because truth can only be experienced, not explained. Master Chen, who lost everything but never lost his peace, once told me these words, "My child, anxiety is like clouds. They come, block the sunlight for a while, then drift away. But the blue sky, that is your soul, is always there." Today, when anxiety appears, and it will appear, because that's a natural part of life, remember what you've learned. Remember that everything is impermanent. Remember that you are the observer, not the emotion. Remember that this too shall pass. And just remember, because in that remembering you will find the freedom that for thousands of years wise souls have found. Your blue sky is waiting.